And hello YouTube, this is GS Smart, and I'm going to take with a brand new video for Gaming with GS. Now today's video we're going to be talking about League of Legends and another champion guide. In today's guide we're going to be focusing on Leona, the Radiant Dawn, and she's going to be a tank and a support for this guide. You can play her as a mid laner, I've seen it done before, but the success rate is kind of low. I've tried it, personally haven't succeeded in it. So as a tank and a support, we're going to be showing you how to play her today. And as you'll see, we have a menu on the left side of the screen here. You can go ahead and pick a section if you want to pick a section, and if you want to watch the whole video you can do that. And there's going to be a button on the bottom right corner of the screen, I think I'm going to put it there, where you can go back to the menu whenever you feel like it. So let's go ahead and get started. First section here, we're going to be talking about the abilities and explaining some of the abilities. So Leona's abilities are very supporty. Her passive is Sunlight, and basically what it does is whenever you damage an enemy, whether it be with your spells, whether it be with your basic attacks, whenever an enemy is damaged, you basically place a debuff on them, and this debuff is Sunlight. This debuff stays on the enemy for 3 seconds, and within those 3 seconds, if another person on your team attacks that same target, they basically get a damage boost, additional amount of damage, and it's going to be magic damage. And this damage also benefits from the magic penetration. So pretty simple passive. It's great for bottom lane, especially because whenever you hit someone, if your AD carry hits them also, he basically does bonus damage. So great passive. The Q is basically the master ability of this entire ability set, because it's going to be what you're going to be using a lot along with the E. But the Q basically is just a stun. They get stunned for 1.25 seconds. The stun doesn't increase. It's not like a Morgana stun. It's not very long. It's long enough for you to engage, long enough for your AD carry to engage as well. And it also does damage. So it does damage and it's stunned for 1.25 seconds. When you level it up, the cooldown goes down and the mana cost goes down, but the stun time does not go up. This ability does scale off of AP, but for the most part you're not going to be building AP, so not that important. The W is what makes you really tanky. Whenever you activate it, it basically increases your armor and it increases your magic resist. And the cool thing about this is that it also scales off of armor and magic resist. So the more armor you have, the more magic resist you have, the more this spell will also give you even more armor and more magic resist. Now when you activate it, it's basically gonna put a little shield around you for 3 seconds, and your armor and magic resist is boosted. However, after 3 seconds, the spell will basically, the shield will explode around you, and anyone within a 275 range, it's not majorly huge range, but it's a pretty decent amount of range. It's a good range. But anyone within that range basically gets damaged. So it can do some damage. And this ability also scales off of AP, so as you can see, Q and W already scale off of AP. So that's why going middle can be somewhat viable if you're good enough. But that's basically it for W. Her E, it basically brings you to the opponent. When you cast your E, it's going to be a skill shot, and it's kind of like Blitzcrank's pull. The only difference is that it's not as long, and the enemy doesn't get brung to you. You get brung to the enemy. So it basically just, if you basically hit the enemy, then you get pulled to the enemy. So if you're thinking right now, you can use your E and your Q together. You can hook to the enemy and then press Q and then stun them, which is exactly what you're supposed to do. This also does damage, and when your E hits, it roots them for a small amount, for like a very short amount of time, and then you can basically stun them. And then we have the ultimate, which also does damage, but the main key here is that this is also, once again, it's not a lock-on. You have to pretty much aim this ability, and anybody that's within the radius of the ultimate basically gets slowed, and the closer they are to the center of it, if they're within 100 range of the center, then they get stunned. So very, very good ultimate, very powerful ultimate. It's really great in team fights. And that's basically it for the abilities. You basically want to E onto them, then Q them. If you need to ult them. And the cool thing about this ult, it's on a pretty short cooldown, 60 seconds at max rank, only 90 seconds at the lowest rank. So you can pretty much use your ultimate a lot for, a lot of times you can use it, and it's going to be on a pretty short cooldown. That's going to be for the abilities. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the runes and masteries. Now for runes and masteries, you could go two ways here. You could go 0.21.9 or 0.16.14, as you can see here. If you go 0.16.14, you basically get more gold. If you go 0.21.9, you basically get a little more armor and a little more magic resist, as well as crowd control is 15% reduced. Now, the reason why I go 0.16.14 is because I'm pretty confident with Leona. I mean, I'm pretty tanky. The average amount of times that I die during a game is maybe like once or twice. I'm pretty good with her, so I don't think I think I'd rather stick with the gold. But if you're starting out with Leona, I definitely would suggest the 0.21.9. If you start getting really good, go 0.16.14, because honestly the gold here that you get 40 starting gold, which is really good because you can basically buy a pink ward then and still start with your starting item, which is what I do. And it also gives you more gold for each time an ally kills a nearby lane minion. So, it's basically like a mini golden coin, a mini ancient coin. Even though for my build we're not going to start with the ancient coin, this will give you a kind of like a mini ancient coin. And then we also get the extra gold for every 10 seconds. So, I mean, for me, support doesn't get a lot of money, so I try to go with these three here to sort of make up for the lack of gold that supports get. But if you're going to go 0.21.9, you would not be getting this right here. You wouldn't need the 1% of missing health every 5 seconds. You would be going for the Legendary Guardian, which gives you extra armor and magic resist for nearby enemy champions, and you would be getting Tenacious, which gives you 15% reduced time on crowd control. So depending on how you want to go, you can pick 0.21.9 or 0.16.14. Now for runes, I have my tank runes. We're going to be going basically greater marks of armor for the marks. We're going greater steals of health for the seals. We're going greater glyphs of magic resist for glyphs, and greater quintessences of armor for the quintessences. Pretty standard. The reason why we're getting health and not armor is because you sort of get you have a lot of armor here already. You get 4.26 armor, and then you get 0.91 armor. So we're getting a lot of armor already here. In fact, we get plus 21 armor. And in early game, runes are pretty much what makes the difference early game, and plus 21 armor early game is good enough already. But if you go health, you get an extra 72 health, which can be really helpful early game. It can make you a little more tanky, a little more sustainable. So that's why I go with health, mainly just because I already have a ton of armor here. And honestly, abilities early game don't really do a lot of damage. So, magic resist glyphs pretty standard. I mean, for every build, for every rune page that I've seen, a lot of times people always use greater glyphs of magic resist for glyphs, so pretty standard here. But health's for the seals, just to get that extra sustain, and then armor for the marks and quintessences. But that pretty much does it for armor. And we're gonna go ahead and go into the ability sequence right now. So for the ability sequences, you want to level up your W first. And the reason I want to do that is because your W will basically make you tanky. It will allow you to be in the front of your minions. It will allow you to zone the enemy. Leona is a zoning champion. You have to play her in your face style. If you're behind your ADC, if you're in the back, you're playing Leona wrong. You can basically play a poke champion then, because Leona is tanky. She can take a lot of damage. I mean, her abilities make her tanky. The build I'm going to be showing you is very tanky. So, be in the enemy's face, zone them out. Don't let them get farm. You can take a lot of damage. Maybe not to level 1, but I mean, once you get 1 or 2 items built, you can take a lot of damage. So you have to play Leona as an aggressive support that plays very I would say that defends your ADC very well and isn't afraid to take shots for your ADC. You know, make sure that you zone the enemy, allow your ADC to farm, and don't allow the enemy to farm. So your W is definitely going to be one thing you always want to max first. However, what you're going to be starting with is your Q. And the reason why we're going to start with our Q is because one strategy that you can do is that if you're not leashing, which a lot of times I do leash, but if you're not leashing, what you can do is hide in the bush with your ADC. And when your ADC comes out, you basically... when you're ADC and you are hidden in the bush and you see one of the enemy champions in bot lane come forward, right before they're about to ward, rush out, stun them. You can get so much damage off early game with that strategy. So a lot of damage. You can burn their flash early, burn their heal. You know, it's a really good strategy. So go with your Q first. Especially if you're not leashing, go with your Q first. If you feel like you're having a hard time early game though, like level 1, level 2, then maybe you should go with your W first. But honestly, going with Q first is what I always do. But you know, then second you want to go with your W, and then third you want to go with your E. So honestly, you can't really engage until level 3 because you want to do your EQ combo, but you can scare the enemy away with your Q, going up to them, Qing them. So remember, your Q we're going to level up first, second we're going to level up Eclipse, which is your W, and then third we're going to level up E. However, you max W first, you max Q second, and the reason why we're maxing Q second is because our cooldowns will go down. We're going to have to wait a short amount of time to use our Q. The reason why we're not leveling up first, we're not going to level up at first, because the stun duration doesn't increase. If the stun duration would increase, you guarantee you would level up that first, but you want to be able to tank damage, so level up your W as much as you can so you can tank more damage. Once that's done, level up your Q so you can stun more, and then lastly, level up your E. Your E it's on a pretty long cooldown, especially, you know, since we're leveling up last. It's gonna be on a long cooldown for a lot of the game, but it also gives you an incentive not to miss your E's. You know, always practice making sure you get those E's on them. Make sure that you actually hit them. Missing one is not the end of the world, but honestly, the more accurate you are, the better, and the less misses, because the EQ combo is just so powerful. And the other reason why we're not going to max it out first is because honestly it doesn't do much. The only thing here is that it reduces cooldown. The mana cost stays the same, the range stays the same. The only difference is the increases in damage, but honestly, you know, we don't want to increase damage for support. We're supporting, we don't want to do damage. So that's why. So we're maxing W first, maxing Q second, maxing E third, but we are starting with our Q and then going W and then E. And obviously you want to max your ultimate whenever you can, because it will increase the damage as well as the cooldown. Stun and slows don't get increased, but you know, that's fine. 1.5 second stun is pretty good. So now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead into the gameplay and the actual build making, which is probably going to take the majority of this video. So I'll see you guys in a second. Now for the build and the gameplay portion of the video, we have a recorded video here that I did, and we're going to be playing with Leona here, and we have Jinx as our ADC. As you can see, we're facing Misfortune and Blitzcrank at bottom. So pretty classic combination here. Well, not so much Misfortune, but you'll meet many Blitzcranks bottom lane. So let's skip ahead a bit. Alright, here we go. Slow this down a bit. So as you see, we started with a... Let me actually go back to the... Here we go. As you see, we buy the shield here. We buy some biscuits, and we buy a pink ward. And the reason I'm going to buy your shield first is because you basically can heal your AC. You basically can get gold, gain extra gold. The item basically gives you, every time you hit a minion, When you have a little charge around you, you'll know you'll have a charge around you when you see those blue things flying around you. As you can see those blue things around you. You also see above your Q, above your passive and above your Q, you have a little 2 there. That means that you have 2 charges available, and every time you use a charge, you basically heal yourself and EDC, and you basically also gain gold by killing the minion, and the EDC gets the same amount of gold. So it's a great item for sustain. We're getting biscuits, 1 biscuit, just to help us get some sustain for our mana and our health, and we're getting a pink ward because early game pink ward can be very helpful. In the tri-bush, you always want to ward the tri-bush with the pink ward, because you'll see that most games that I play, my pink ward stays in that tri-bush for 75-80% of the game. So I think it's great, and as you can see here, I actually promised the people in this game that I would put this up on YouTube, this video, because they were all like, "Oh, you're gonna record?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna record the game." So yeah, so one thing that I like to do, as I told you in the abilities explanation, is that I like to sit here in this bush, and as soon as the enemy comes out, I like to stun them, and then the ADC goes also and does a bunch of damage, and we have a really good trade. As you'll see right here, we're actually going to accomplish that right here. So this is something that you can do if you're not leashing. If you're leashing, you obviously can't do this, but if you're not leashing, this is a great way to get an early lead here. Now, I believe they're leashing, and they're not going to come for a while. Here they come. As soon as I see Misfortune, I come out, Q, stun, and we get some good trades here. We bring Misfortune down to a good amount of health. They bring me down to health too, but I have my extra health regen from my shield item, and I get the mini sustain heals from the shield item as well. As you'll see, every time we hit a minion, we basically heal ourselves and we heal the ADC. Now around level 2 or level 3, you want to start warding, and just in case for some early ganks, you want to place your pink ward in the tri-bush, and you want to place a yellow ward in the regular bush. My yellow ward is not up yet because I placed it in the red buff. And Blitzcrank just misses his Q there drastically. Now as you see, I'm playing very aggressively. I want to protect my ADC, so you'll see me several times go in front of the whole wave just to zone them out, and that's what you want to do. You want to zone the enemy out. Obviously, if they're this close to their tower, you don't want to do that, because especially with Blitzcrank, it's harder to zone with Blitzcrank. But you'll see that sometimes I will go in front of the whole minion wave just to zone them out so they don't get any CS. But right now, we're just farming. And for the most part, when you're playing Leona bot, you just want to pay attention to your ADC, because you want to make sure that you can save them, and you want to look for opportunities to use your stun and your E together. Other than that, you want to basically hit minions when you have your shield up, and as you can see here, I pretty much try to stay in front of the wave here, just to zone them out so they don't come close. Blitzcrank is scared of me because he knows I can stun him. He does have the opportunity to pull me, but he's not going to take the chance because he's too far away right now at the moment. And our ward is out. If you have no ward, just face check the bush real quick. Leona's pretty tanky, so I mean, you can take a risk of face checking early game. I know some of you are going to hate that idea, but you know, early game, I think it's okay a little bit. If you're ADC warders, that's really good, because then you basically have you have vision there. And we're just going to continue farming here. And Blitzcrank misses a pull drastically there again. I have no idea how this Blitzcrank is missing his pulls so bad. And he's a skin too. As you can see, here we are. You know, always looking for opportunity to stun. And there we go. We get a good stun. And we're just going to back off a bit. And Jinx is doing a really good job with her W. But as you can see there, we did a great stun there to get a good trade off. Before level 6, you really can't kill unless the enemy is really far extended. So just worry about getting good trades. I would advise you that. Just get good trades. And you'll see here I am zoning them out again. Just trying to stay in front of my ADC. That's pretty much what you want to do with Leona. Stay in front of your ADC always. Block any skill shots. Make sure that you get hit and not your ADC gets hit. Especially with bulky Leona and your W. Your W makes really bulky, so just remember that. And we're gonna get some mini heals here. That's what I like to call them. And Blitzcrank almost gets jinxed there. Yeah, we're just trying to play defensively here, making sure no one touches Jinx. You know, Blitzcrank obviously always stay behind the minions. Otherwise, I would be playing a lot more aggressively. Usually, I'd be and there, I should have blocked that, but as you can see right there, we go straight for the ADC. We stun the ADC always. You know, Blitzcrank can do damage, but early game, he can't do a lot of damage, so I went straight to stun Misfortune there. And then we put an exhaust, we quickly flash in, and we get another stun on her. And then here we go, I'm taking all the damage right now. I'm taking all that damage, kiting away, then I E back on him, and boom, explosion. Kill with style right there. But as you can see there, we tank most of the damage there, and you know, with Leona, you gotta be confident. You gotta be confident. I mean, if you were to die there, it would still be worth it, because your ADC would have gotten 2 kills. So you gotta be confident with Leona. You know, that's a scary situation right there, where you're like, oh, you're really low on health, but you gotta keep thinking. Right there, Blitzcrank missed his E. I missed his Q, and I was able to turn around quickly E and basically slice through him and pick off a kill. If I wouldn't have, he probably would have killed me. So next back, you basically want to start building your boots and a ruby crystal, which will give you health. And Misfortune here, I mean not Misfortune, Jinx here just gets a really nice rocket right there, and gets an awesome shot there. So when you first go back, if you're taking a lot of damage from the ADC, you might want to get cloth armor instead of boots. Ruby crystal and cloth armor. But usually you want to start building your face of the mountain first. That's one of the first things you want to start building, face of the mountain. Face of the mountain and Ninja Tabi. If you're facing an AP bot, or if you're facing a Lux or a Morgana bot, you want to go Mercury treads, because the stuns and the snares do get reduced in time. Especially if your team is heavy AP, you want to go Mercury treads as well. But for the most part, I generally go, and there we just get caught in a really bad situation. But for the most part, you really always want to go Ninja Tabi and Face of the Mountain as your first 2 prime items, because it'll really make you tanky. I think I'm taking a lot of damage here, but I'm able to still, you know, sustain myself very well because of that ruby crystal there. And here we're just going to circle around Blitzcrank so he doesn't get a clear shot of us. And here we're going to hook on to Misfortune, get a nice Q and an ultimate right off the bat there. And if you'll notice there, what I do with the ultimate is I basically aim it in front of Misfortune. A lot of times you gotta predict where the person is running. You basically have to predict, is the person gonna run to this area? If it is, you gotta place your ultimate a little more forward. So don't just place the ultimate right in front of them, I mean right on top of them, but basically place them in front of them so that when they're running away, you know, you have a clear shot on them. Now if they're all grouped up in one spot, obviously put it right on top of them. But early game, no one's going to be standing still, so here we go, placing more wards. Now, if you'll probably notice that my build does not include a sight stone, and a lot of you are probably going to be hating on that for me in the comments. I know, but well, my build does include a sight stone. You'll see that a sight stone is part of my build in the build section. There's a sight stone part of it, but to be quite frank with you, I don't really build a sight stone I don't build a Sightstone in my Leona build. The only time I build a Sightstone in my Leona build is if I'm behind in my lane, if we're getting ganked a lot, or if we're losing the game. Then a Sightstone is really crucial. But for the most part, we usually win in the bottom lane always, so I don't really need a Sightstone. But I can say, and here, right here, we're just taking a lot of damage from the ult, and unfortunately there, Misfortune just gets the double shot off, and it bounces off a Jinx and kills me. But as I was saying, for the most part, if you're very confident with Leona, if you're winning your lane a lot, if you don't see the jungler ganking your lane a lot, then you can skip the Sightstone. But I'll be frank with you, when I first started playing with Leona, I always bought Sightstone because Sightstone is important. But basically what I do, I basically adjusted my build. Instead of buying Sightstone, I kind of buy the green wards a lot, and they're cheaper. You don't need to use 800 gold, and I still place a very large amount of wards throughout the game. Just with your yellow ward and with your green wards, I think you can save yourself a bit money. So I'm not saying don't buy. I'm not saying avoid buying a Sightstone because don't ward. I'm saying if you prefer the Sightstone over the green wards, then buy a Sightstone. But I'm also saying that you can manage your wards with just green wards, because I always do it. So green wards only cost 75 gold. So whenever you go back, may want to pick up a green ward or two. As you'll see, the last time we went back, we finished our Face the Mountain, which is the first time you want to finish. This is a really good item because it basically allows you to shield. As you see here, we're going to put a shield on Jinx here, just to ensure that she doesn't die. So you always want to use it active. The active on the Face of the Mountain basically has a cooldown of 60 seconds. So it's a really crucial ability, can save a lot of lives. It can save a lot of lives, the active. And we got a double ward there with Jinx. Now, another reason why you upgrade Face the Mountain first is because you'll get more heals. Instead of getting 2 charges, you get 4 charges. So you'll be able to get a lot more mini heals off. Misfortune's up there trying to kill, but we're gonna have to go ahead and take this tower right here. As you can see, I'm leading the pack here, getting right in front of the turret, making sure that Lee Sin doesn't try to do anything to our champions, our team here. That's another thing. You always want to be in the front, like I said. Not only early game, but late game, middle game, you want to be in the front always. Be the first one to enter battle. Be the first one to charge into the enemy. If you need to build tanky, you need to build tanky to do that. Obviously, if you're not doing so great and the enemy is killing you and destroying you, play a bit more defensively. But in general, you always want to go in front of everyone because you are the main tank here. I mean, the build that I have right here is very tanky. So we're sitting at 1,500 gold, and I believe we actually recall here. Our ADC is fed right now. And as long as you're doing that, as long as you're feeding your ADC, I'd say you're doing a really good job. So early game, you mainly want to zone them out by kind of going in front of the minions a little bit. Look for opportunities to get your E and your Q combo off. And that's pretty much it for early game, and heal your ADC with the Face of the Mountain. But when it comes to mid game, like right now, I usually always want to follow your ADC, always do that. And here we're just checking. Now as you'll see in my build here, if we go back real quick. Here we're checking to see what we can build. And the reason why most of the team is AP. Now usually what you want to build is you want to build Face of the Mountain first. If you need to buy the Sightstone, buy the Sightstone obviously. But you want to build Face of the Mountain. Then you buy Ninja Tabi, or in case they're AP, buy Mercury's Treads. So you want to build your Face of the Mountain first, then your boot upgrade. And then you have a choice. You can either build Randuin's Omen, or you can build Locket or the Solari. If you're facing a heavy AP team, or the APs are carrying the game, build the Locket. It also has an active, which basically puts a shield around your entire team. And it gives your whole team magic resist. And it gives you a bunch of magic resist, cooldown reduction, and it gives you health. Now, in standardly, I go with Randuin's Omen, because most of the time I'm facing heavy AD teams. So Randuin's Omen, but eventually you want to build both of them. Whichever one you build first, the second item comes right after. So if you build Randuin's first, after comes Locket. If you build Locket first, after comes Randuin's. So those are two items right there that you want to build. And after you build those two items, you basically have Face It Down, you have Ninja Tabi, you have Randuin's, and you have the Locket of Solari. Those will be your first 4 items. And if you have Sightstone, if you need Sightstone, then obviously you'll have 5 items, which is Sightstone. Now we're just gonna follow Jinx here. Here, Jinx, another really good skill shot right here. She's doing really good with the skill shots. And here with Miss Fortune, focusing Miss Fortune first. As you can see, very bad positioning from her. We go right in though, and we kind of missed our ultimate there. I was expecting Lee Sin to actually fall back, and his teammates to help him, but obviously not. Now here you'll see that you can actually do a lot of damage with Leona. I mean, Leona's not just a tank. You could do some burst damage. You know, the W, look at the damage of the W right there. The W and the Q take out a lot of health from Lee Sin there. And we're gonna go kite him right here. We can actually kill him with our E and our Q if it comes up, but Jinx is right there to save us. So we had enough health to kill him actually though, if Jinx wasn't even there. So I mean, with Leona you can kill. Don't be afraid to, you know, kill and do some stuff. Now here, I was busy typing like a noob, and then I pressed the wrong button and opened my escape thing, so we basically get killed there. Just a really bad place to recall. So that's a really noob mistake there, but you know, happens to all of us. And as you can see, I'm just trying to stun. That's one thing you want to do. If you're getting chased by somebody, turn around, stun them, and keep running. You always want to do that. If you're running away and your ADC is following you, both of you are running away, stand behind your ADC, stun the guy, and keep running. You have that stun for a reason. It's not only to engage, it's not only to be offensive, but you can use that stun defensively as well. You can keep the enemies off your ADC with that stun. So keep that in mind. Now here we can't really build anything. We want to build the Aegis of the Legion first because it will give us that magic resist. It will give us the magic resist for the whole team. We're going to buy some more green wards here. And we'll be off. We're sitting at a good record here, 1-2-9. Our ADC is pretty fed, sitting at 9-2. I'm going to go ahead and pick up Dragon here. Let's go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. Here we go. Lee Sin, get a good hook on him, get a good stun. I didn't use the ult here because no one was really close, but there we go. I should have used the ult earlier. And Jinx actually gets the kill there perfectly. And Aurelia is doing a lot of damage, as you can see. But we actually built the we're starting to build the Solari first, so that's why she's doing a lot of damage to us, because we don't have a ton of armor yet. And we have armor, but it's Aurelia, you know. So Aurelia does damage. And here you see that, here we go, get a good stun off, and that stun actually saves Talon's life there. As you can see, the only reason why Talon came out, I had a stun ready, I was ready to stun. If I wouldn't have gotten that stun off, we probably both have been dead, because Aurelia has burst. So, good play right there. As you'll see that, we see that Aurelia is doing damage to us. We're going to buy a Giant's Belt, and we're going to buy, well, we don't have nothing for Giants, but we're going to buy actually cloth armor. And we're actually going to sell the health bead to get some potions, since those seem to be a little more helpful at the moment. Here we're going to go lane with Talon a bit, going down bot lane. And you know, there's nothing really special with Leona as playing her. Leona, you can't play her support style. You know, you play her support like every other support. I'd say that most of the time playing with Leona, you need to know how to play support. I'd say you need to know how to play support more than playing the champion, because I mean, there's so many mechanics of playing a support than there are playing a champion. You know, there's warding, there's positioning, there's keeping your ADC safe, there's you know, knowing when to tank, knowing, you know, how to control the map with the wards, knowing, you know, who to focus. You know, there's a lot of mechanics with support that you need to know before you can, you know, even play a good Leona. Because, you know, you can know the champion as much as you want, and you can be as good at Leona as you want, but if you don't know how to play support, then, you know, you're kind of screwed. So here, we're just trying to stick with a Jinx here. And Lee Sin's probably going to try to come in on us here. And we're going to go ahead and give, I think here's where... Yep, here's where Aurelia is about to jump in on us. We're just trying to stick with the team here, though. And Jinx is doing a good job poking here. Alright, here, get a stun off real quick, and we're gonna go ahead and pop a shield. I think here, no, we don't pop a shield on anyone here. I probably should have used my active there on the face of the mountain on Talon there, but I don't think it would have saved him. Here we flash for the kill right there because Jinx isn't able to get it. So a good flash there to pick up that kill that was about to get away. It's gonna use an active on us to avoid any more turret damage. And then here Katarina comes in, get a quick stun off of her, and quickly run away. You know, as you can see there, once again making sure everyone gets out of the tower first. We may be the last one to get out, but we did protect our team there. Stunned Katarina, avoided her from getting a triple there. Now here I should probably recall the reason why I didn't recall was because I used my 4 biscuits, and I'm like, well, if I recall now, then I basically wasted my biscuits, and I actually ended up dying here for that stupid mistake. Just a noob mistake here. Honestly, should have recalled. But, you know, oh well. And we're gonna go ahead and build the Randuin's Omen now, because Aurelia is really kicking our ass right now. She's 8 and 6. So Warden's Mail, and we're gonna Giant's Belt. And after you finish that Randuin's Omen, we're gonna be building the Locket. We're actually gonna buy some more green wards, and that'll be it. Sitting at 2-3-13, still pretty good. And here we can't quite save Talon, too far away from us. As you see, the pink ward is still there. It's been over 20 minutes in the game, and we've had vision in that area for the longest time now. So as you can see, that pink ward placement really is paying off. Now we should be tanky enough to take on Aurelia and sustain, and basically be able to take most of her damage. Let's see if Dragon is up. And it is. And we're going to keep on following Jinx. Now we have Misfortune pushing bottom, we have no on top, and we have the rest of the team trying to defend middle here, because we do have super minions coming down mid lane. As you see, at this point, the mini heals from your face of the mountain can actually really help a lot. And I don't know what leads to the there. You know, he went in, then went back out, and didn't really do any damage. Now we're going to try to focus Aurelia here, because she is the main damage dealer. So we see her coming, we're going to stun her real quick. But Katarina is there as well, so we want to save our stun for Katarina, but at the same time want to stun Aurelia, so maybe a good idea to use the ult on one and the stun on the other. But I think Lee Sin's been very aggressive here, so I'm not really sure what happened here. I'm trying to remember, but we'll see what happens. Can't quite remember what happens here. We go for the other inhibitor there, and Jinx does not come down with us, so I gotta go back and try to save her, but, you know, too late. I don't know why she didn't follow us down to the inhibitor. You know, she probably could have gotten some kills and probably not been dead here. I don't know if we die here, but if we do die here, then yeah, we die here. Unfortunate, because, you know, I was paying for Jinx to come, but she didn't come with us. Probably could have survived there. And you know, at this point, we can't really buy Randuin yet. We do not have the gold yet. But as you can see, for the remaining of the build, since I probably won't be able to finish the whole build, you'll see that after you finish the Randuin and the Locket, you want to go for the Frozen Heart and the Banshee's Veil. Whichever one suits you best. Once again, if you're heavy AP, then you want to go with Banshee's Veil, heavy AD, then Frozen Heart. But one of these two, you definitely want to pick up. Now, I do have a third section at the bottom here, which is heavy AD / heavy AP. Basically, if you're in a situation where you're facing an all AD team, you want to build Face of the Mountain, Ninja Tabi, Randuin Omen, Frozen Heart, Thornmail, and those would be your 5 items. And then you could probably pick, you know, the Sightstone maybe, or you could pick your 1 AP magic resist item and 1 magic resist item, or you could maybe pick, you know, another. Or you could pick Warmog's armor. Warmog's armor is pretty good. It gives you 1,000 health, makes you even more tankier. And if you're facing a heavy AP team, once again, Face of the Mountain. Only reason why is because it gives you the gold, it gives you some mini heals. Mercury's Treads, Locket, Banshee's Veil, and Spirit Visage. So pretty easy guide here to follow. If you basically use this guide here, I think it'll be pretty easy. You have your AD items on the left side, AP items on the right side. And if they're heavy AD, heavy AP, you want to get those two. Only reason why is because Thornmail does not give you any health, so it's mainly only really good against all AD teams. And Spirit Visage has a lot of magic resist, and it's really good against all AP teams. And also increases healing effects, and you know, AP teams are really bursty, so getting those healing effects increased is really good. So there's that portion of the build. In case I don't get to fully build everything, since this game's almost over. Now we're gonna do Baron here. As you can see, we're pretty tanky at this point. We can pretty much tank Baron. As you can see, me and Jinx are doing it alone right here, bringing it down to already half health, and we're taking a lot of damage from Baron. And then here comes Gangplank to help us out. As you can see, at this point in the game, if you have your Warden's Mail and your Giant's Belt with the Face of the Mountain and Ninja Tabi, you have a lot of health. You can pretty much take Baron with 2 people, you and your ADC. At level 12 too, you know, so it's pretty good. Now here we're gonna keep on warding. Very important to keep on warding, because a lot of times no one on the team wards except you, so you want to keep on getting those green wards throughout the whole game if you're not getting Sightstone. And here we flash there to try to secure Jinx's life, but unfortunately turret kills her there. And you know, just trying to save Jinx there, but unfortunately we cannot save her. And we end up getting really low on health. And I think we may end up recalling here. Oh no, we actually are gonna see if we can help out the team here, because they're gonna be getting chased here in a second. Now here we get a shield on Talon to save his life, because he's lower health, and unfortunately Gangplank back there gets, or Udyr, I don't know who that is, I couldn't get to see. He unfortunately gets Udyr gets stunned back there, and we just come in to hopefully secure the kill. He doesn't get killed. So once again, always watching out for your teammates there. You always want to make sure you do that. Not only that, but you pick up a lot of assists that way. And we're gonna end up building Randuin's Omen, I believe. We should, yeah, Randuin's Omen, and then we're gonna build some more health and hopefully get our Solari done soon, and picking up more green wards. And I think, what were we doing here? I think I was checking Skype right here. No idea what I was doing here. There we go. We do have Baron buff now, so we're pretty powerful. Here we get a good hook on Lee Sin. You see that your E basically has a very large amount of range, so I'm gonna go and exhaust him and give that kill to Jinx there. One thing you want to be careful of is you want to make sure that you don't steal kills with your W, because when your W explodes, it does a lot of damage. So you want to make sure you don't steal kills that way. So if you see the enemies low, just kind of walk away to avoid getting the burst off of the W, and let your ADC get the kill here. And here, well, it's kind of a chaos. Here we're gonna put a shield on Talon there. Unfortunately, it doesn't save him, but we do get an awesome ultimate there that really stunned them all, and Jinx get a good kill. But as you can see, we do not finish the build, but like I said, I did show you the build earlier in the video, and we do end up winning that game with a pretty solid record. I think. What do we finish with? We finished with 3-4-18. We fit our ADC 16-5-5. She could have had less deaths if she made a few more smarter decisions. But same with us. We could have had less deaths with smarter decisions. But hopefully you guys saw the build. I'll go back to one more time to show you guys. I can't find it now, but just to recap, the main thing you want to build is Face of the Mountain first. If you need the Sightstone, then buy a Southstone. If you want to go with the Green Wards, you can buy the Green Wards. I do a pretty good job at sustaining my Green Wards for the duration I'm in lane, so it's not a big deal for me. But if you're having trouble sustaining the Green Wards, then go with Sightstone. I'm not saying don't buy Sightstone. You can buy Sightstone if you want it. For me, I've always been able to win my games and do very well without Sightstone. Sometimes I do need to buy Sightstone if we're behind, we're getting a lot of ganks. If we're losing, then I do buy Sightstone a lot. But for the most part, when we're winning games, I don't really buy Sightstone. If you do buy Sightstone, though, near the end of the game, you want to sell a Sightstone for another item. And the third item or second item, depending on your build order, you want to build Ninja Tabi or Mercury Treads against heavy AP, Randuin's Omen, Locket of the Iron Solari, and then you want to get the Frozen Heart, which will give basically a debuff. It will decrease everyone's attack speed on the other team. And then you want to buy the Spirit Visage, which will basically give you one free CC block. It'll give you more health, and it will give you magic resist. So that's pretty much it. And obviously heavy AD by Thornmail, and heavy AP you buy a Spirit Visage. So we're going to go ahead and go over the counters right now. So see you guys in a second. Now for counters, as you can see, we are here on Champion Select, a great site for showing you some counters. To be quite honest with you, this list isn't 100% accurate. It's pretty accurate for the most part, but as you'll see here, Leona is strong against Blitzcrank, which is pretty true. If he pulls you, you can easily Q him and he gets stunned, or you could stun the ADC. However, if you get pulled in a turret, then obviously that's a whole different story. Sona, a good Sona will know how to play Sona very well, and she may do really good, because the thing with Leona is what counters Leona is poke. Poke counters Leona, because you have to go in to you basically have to go all in to kill someone. For Leona, you have to go all in. You have to put yourself at risk. Sona, if she knows how to play very well, she won't go into your range. She'll wait till your Q's down, or wait till your E's down, or she won't go in range so that you can cast your E, but she'll still poke you with her Q. So a good Sona could counter you. However, if you play pretty aggressive, then you could probably scare her off. But just watch out for her Qs, because they can do a lot of damage. And obviously, if you go all in, she can stun you, so watch out for that as well. So I wouldn't say that you're that strong in Sona. I'd say that if the Sona's bad, then you'll be fine. And if you know how to play Leona very well, then it won't be much of a problem either. Strong against Caitlyn, I don't see how that is possible either, because once again, Caitlyn can shoot you from far away. A smart bot lane would focus Leona over the ADC for a little bit. I mean, obviously focus the ADC still, but the thing with Leona is that Leona sets up the plays. Leona sets up the plays for your ADC to get the kills. You have to all in with her. So if Leona's low on health, you're not gonna all in. So a lot of this Sona and Caitlyn stuff right here, if they're very smart, and if I was playing them, I would focus Leona a little bit early game, and basically bring your health down a bit, so that I'm forcing you to not engage. But like I said, generally most Caitlyn's won't do that. So as long as Caitlyn doesn't focus you with focus you with her autos, since her range is very long, you should be fine. Same with pretty much all the other ADCs. Thresh right here, if he hooks you, obviously same thing with Blitzcrank, you can stun him. Now, who is Leona weak against, which is the most important part? Morgana. To be quite honest with you, Morganas don't seem very hard to me. The thing with Morgana is, the reason why she counters you is because her W... Well, technically, good Morganas will counter you. I met some really good Morganas that just really get on my nerves. The thing with Morgana is, if she puts her E, which is her black shield, basically shields an ally from getting CC'd, which is that purple shield around that you see. If she puts down her ADC, don't stun. If you're gonna stun, then it's not gonna work, because the shield that she puts around her ADC is gonna block CC. So the thing with Morgana, you have to wait till she uses her shield. You have to wait till she uses her Q, and she can poke from far away because of her W. Her I forget what the spell's called, but she basically puts dirt on the floor, or it's like a black puddle, and does damage to you. So Morgana can counter you. Morgana is very good. If she's very good, she knows how to counter you, and she's gonna counter you. You have to do a lot of waiting with Morgana. You have to wait till she uses her abilities. Alistar can be tricky. I would say Alistar is a little more difficult than Morgana, just because if the Alistar knows what he's doing, he can basically put you in a situation where you don't want to be. If you E in on Alistar, if you E in on an ADC and start to stun them, Alistar's going to flip you over. And if you're near a turret, guess what? You're taking turret damage. So the thing with Alistar is, be careful with Alistar, because he can flip you over. Remember how I said that you have to be very, you basically have to be in their face? Well, with Alistar, you want to be careful a little bit, because that's why he counters you, you can't be in their face, because if you get close to Alistar, he's going to flip you over, and guess what? You're in a bad situation. So just be careful with Alistar. Don't be too aggressive. Be in an area where you're not close to the enemy turret. Be in a comfortable position for you to engage. So with Morgana, wait till her abilities go down. For Alistar, be in a comfortable position for you to all in, because he can flip you over and you're basically screwed. Now Janna, the reason why she counters you is because she has a disengage. If you E in on her or her ADC, she can basically whirlwind you, and your whole engagement is basically screwed up. So once again, wait till she uses her tornadoes and then engage. Lulu, once again, a lot of poke. Her Q has a lot of poke. Stay behind minions, you probably won't get hit by the poke. Polymorph, if you E in on Lulu, he's probably going to polymorph you, and then you're basically screwed too. So with Lulu, just not many. I can't really give you any tips other than avoid the poke. If you avoid the poke, I think you should be okay. And most Lulus are gonna polymorph the ADC, not really the support. But just be cautious. Do they give you any tips here? There's a small time frame after Zenith Blade that you can use your polymorph to prevent her from following up. Oh yeah, that's what I just said. You see. So most Lulus are going to try to polymorph you, so just watch out for that. I mean, be prepared for it. So don't think, oh, I'm going to all in and destroy people, because you're not. You're probably getting polymorphed. Thresh counters you. I wouldn't say Thresh counters you. I think it's a pretty even match. Thing with Thresh is that he can not only pull you, but he can also use, I forget what ability is. I don't play Thresh that much. One of his abilities basically knocks you back a little bit, or pulls you. Like, it's an ability. I think it's his E. With Thresh, you know, I don't really know any tips here for Thresh. I mean, honestly, when you see that Leona went to use her E, how to counter, let's see. Wait until he burns the E. Exactly. So what you want to wait is, some Threshes will use their E to farm, or, you know, will use their E to sort of like push the enemy away. So once his E is down, I think you should be good. That's the only dangerous part, which is what they just said here on this website too. The E can screw you up, so wait till he uses that and you should be okay. Karma, I can't really say much for Karma. I haven't seen many Karma supports, but I imagine the same rule with Jaina. She has a lot of poke, so I don't know why Annie's not on this list. I would say the person that counters me the most, the one that I hate going against, I think is worse than, well, not worse than, well, kind of worse than Morgana, is Annie. Annie, if you get Annie bot lane, be careful, because she has a stun, she has burst damage, she has a shield of her own, and it's just, she has so much poke. She can poke you with her autos. She has a really massive range. She can poke you with autos. She can poke you with the abilities. So if you get an Annie support bottom, I don't know why Annie's not on this list, but Annie support will counter you. So just be careful. You know, wait till her stun is down. That's the biggest thing. Wait till her stun is down, and don't get poked by her autos. You know, try to be aggressive when she's poking you, because if you get poked a lot by her with her auto attacks, your health's gonna go down, and you're gonna basically not be able to engage. So just be careful with Annie. I think Annie, Alistar, and Morgana are the top 3 that you should watch out for. But if you become really good at Leona, I think you'll be able to counter your counters, which is what I kind of like to do. I mean, I pretty much know how to counter my counters. Annie's the only one that could probably, you know, gives me a little trouble, but not many Annie's bottom, so I haven't really been able to practice against her. But for the most part, that's pretty much your counters. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully the video helped you. Hopefully it gave you an idea of how to play Leona a little better, what counters, what to build, and all that stuff. And I'll be probably making more guides depending on what champion I'm going to do next. You know, I kind of want to give you a full guide 100%, so I'm not going to make a guide if I don't know the champion 100%. So, but hopefully you will take some of this information and use it in your next game out in Summoner's Rift. Thank you for watching. I hope that this video helped you out in any way. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. It will really help me out. If you didn't like it, you can leave a comment below as well and give some feedback. If you have any other comments or questions, please leave them in the comments as well. And I usually try my best to answer those comments within the next 24 to 48 hours, depending on how busy I am. I also have plenty of other content on my channel about different gaming tutorials, as well as general gaming videos for Guild Wars 2, League of Legends, Minecraft, and any others that you may be interested in. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, check it out. And if you like what you see, you can subscribe too. Would really appreciate it. You can also check out my other channels and social medias as shown on the screen right now. And with that, thank you so much, everyone. And this is GS Man Smart. Now be back sooner than you think. Don't go anywhere.